Longing. What did you think?
Really good first draft. Excited to see the full thing.
Yes. So for those who don't know, 3,000 Years of Longing is the new George Miller joint.
A George Miller. I love. Okay, quick tangent. I love calling directors' movies. Like I know like Spike Lee calls this movie like a Spike Lee joint. I love calling like
John Favreau joint.
A David Lynch joint. Like I love that. I love just calling it like directors' movies like that. Like a Jean-Luc Godard's like joint.
After the success of Happy Feet and Mad Max Fury Road
and Babe, Pig in the City.
George Miller has decided to return to his craft with 3,000 Years of Longing, which is about this lady played by Tilda Swinton, who's a narratologist, and she finds this bottle where a djinn is inside, completely different to a genie, but same thing as also. The djinn fucks a bit more, and then basically the djinn tells her lots of stories while Tilda Swinton tries to decide what her 3 wishes should be. And that is essentially the movie. There's a bit more tacked on to the end when she starts wishing. But, yeah, no, I agree with you. This film is a mess.
It's a really good film that starts to fall apart once they leave the hotel room.
Yes.
Once the central setting of the hotel room is done, the film, I think, has good scenes.
Yes.
In like past that, individual scenes, but it feels ridiculously rushed. Like
yes,
it feels like
very,
it doesn't
not done.
It feels the film feels literally like if they needed another draft to either make it longer.
Yes.
And make it longer to make it more developed, or either the thing is the film either needed to be longer or shorter. I do think the story stuff could have maybe been trimmed a little bit.
Yes.
But it's what I mean, like, at the same time, maybe that stuff should have stayed. Yeah. But what they could have done was made the last bit longer.
Yes.
And it's kind of this weird thing where it feels like something's missing because it does feel like you're watching a first draft.
Yeah. Everything just about doesn't work. I think Tilda Swinton's character just about doesn't work. Because I think the whole shift, spoilers territory, she wishes for Idris Elba to fuck her and to love her and all that, and that part is a pretty decent commentary on why the classic thing in genie movies of just wish to love someone, why that's a thing, and why that isn't good. And I think that part just about doesn't work because Tilda Swinton's choice never feels justified.
Yeah, it's weird, yeah, because I feel like not enough was really done with Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
In the role, because I understand the character.
She very underplays the role.
But I feel like once the djinn comes in, which comes in within like the first 15 minutes, her character really takes a backseat.
Well, yeah, because it essentially just becomes him telling stories.
Yeah, and it's like she takes the back seat and then she comes into focus again, but you almost like forget she was there.
No, absolutely, because the stories are all about. I kind of see the link. The stories are all about love, and a lot of them are, at the very least. There's some weird implications in some of the stories. Some very dodgy implications.
Yes.
That again feel like the film should have had another rewrite.
Yes.
Or a rewrite. But, so overall, it feels like a lot of the stories are about love. And I guess that's what spurs Tilda Swinton on to realise that how lonely she is, despite constantly making But the problem is there never feels like there's any progress from point A to B. It just feels like point A.
It kind of just, it kind of just feels like she just all of a sudden realises.
Yes.
It's like kind of like, oh! And that's it.
Yes.
Like, and that's kind of the end. It's like, and that's the problem, is like her character just feels kind of wasted.
Yeah, because of how disconnected the stories are. Like, don't get me wrong, I can see how her character reached to the conclusion of what she needs is that genie dick. Because when Idris Elba says that the orgasms are like otherworldly, and that's like cool, sick.
Yeah.
What would have been good is if we heard him talk about the G, even if it was played as a joke.
Yeah.
And Idris Elba was describing how good the orgasms were. We just needed to see Tilda Swinton's face. We just needed to see her react to how good that dick is. I'm because that would help us understand her switching. When we hear her say, "I want that genie dick," paraphrasing, it's so sudden.
It's a weird thing because I do wonder if COVID did affect it a bit.
Yes.
Because it does genuinely feel like a film that kind of, like, I don't know whether it's like it didn't really have time to do more with it, and like, because obviously I know there's a lot of masks in the film, so I imagine it was made during COVID.
Yes. Yeah. Weirdly,
there's
one of the first films I've seen which actually has masks.
There's like a ton of masks.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not. But it's weird that there's a ton of masks, but it's not a COVID movie. Like I don't like like Kimmy was a movie which was that was a COVID movie, but at the same that's what I mean, that was COVID. Yeah. So there was reasons why. I mean, I don't think they ever outright said COVID, but it was pretty obvious it was COVID. There was a virus. Like that was kind of the whole thing was. But like 3,000 years longer, they never mentioned that. They just everyone's in masks. And I do wonder if like
kind of based,
which is cool. And I imagine the idea was just to have everyone in masks. Just why
safety.
not?
Yeah.
Like just literally like what like there's no reason why they don't need it.
Yeah.
But like it was just, but I do like it was definitely made in the height of COVID. And I do think that kind of probably hit a little bit because it wasn't able to go as extra as it could have because of the fact that they were so limited due to the resources and because most of it does take place in one room.
Yes.
Which is probably the best part of the film because it feels most developed.
Yes.
But at the same time, it spends so long in that room that when it goes outside of that, it flatlines because it doesn't have enough time. So it's a very interesting movie. It's a very imaginative, bold movie, but it's also one that feels empty almost because there's so little going on.
Yes.
That it just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's weird. The stories aren't interesting enough to carry a film.
No, not really. I feel like the film probably should have just committed to just being like a George Miller anthology. Yeah,
and the stories obviously are all told through Idris Elba, and so they feel sort of, I guess, Wes Anderson-y in a way.
It does kind of feel a little bit like the French Dispatch almost. That kind of thing where like there is a narrative around all of it.
But the character, I would like the characters, the actors playing the characters in the stories never really get a chance to do anything.
No.
And they're very, very quick.
Yes.
Very quick.
It's like
almost to the point of being hard to follow.
Some of them, it was weird because like I remember like some of the stories I was just kind of like zoning out a little bit.
Yes,
some of them are so long.
Yes,
and nothing really happens in them, and then they kind of reach a conclusion.
It's weird for Jim. I guess he was supposed to have spent his entire life in Amsterdam or wherever he spent it. But it is weird how you feel like for this being who's lived through so many years. For so long, all of his stories take place in essentially the same kind of. Yeah,
I was honestly kind of hoping for like a kind of more of a modern story.
Yeah.
Or like a story set in like the 50s or something.
Or even a story set in like just a different time era.
Yeah. With like a very like vastly different places.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been cool if like each of the 3 stories like take place in like a radically different time.
Yeah. Like, what we ended up getting was 3 stories that kind of feel like the same story.
Yeah.
Because they all kind of, like, I mean, again, they're all about different kinds of love. And every character is a different way of loving, and a different
but it's still
idea of love. But they all kind of blend together in a way. There's some cool imagery. George Miller is a fantastic at imagery.
Yeah, he's great, but that's...
A lot of naked bodies in this one.
A lot of naked bodies.
Genie
dick.
Genie dick indeed. I've seen more balls than I ever thought I would need to.
It's what happened because George Miller is a director who fucks. That's what
I mean, you've seen Happy Feast.
I've seen Happy Feast. I've seen Babe. Funny enough, this is the first George Miller film I've seen that's not like one of his kids' ones. I haven't seen any of them at Max's.
Oh my god, you need to. Okay, watch Mad Max Fury Road. But
I will eventually one day.
No, I think 3,000 Years of Longing I think is fine.
I liked it. As harsh as I sound, I did like it. It's very interesting. I just think it needed another draft.
Yeah, no, I think it's a mess. It's a mess.
Very much so.
There's no really nice way to put it. It's a very nice to look at mess.
Yeah.
Again, I think it has that sort of Wes Anderson style to it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a George Miller, Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, with kind the weirdest script he could have found.
Yeah. Also, the trailer.
Oh, the trailer is...
movie. What the fuck?
It's so different. We'll watch the trailer afterwards, and it is like a different movie.
I love how it's like from the insane mind of George Miller, like this guy like fucking nuts, and then you watch it and it's like... It's not like that at all. It's very weird.
It's not that weird.
I genuinely am surprised no one's like trying to get that done for like false advertising.
It is.
It literally is
it's a completely different film. It paints it more as a fantasy adventure, which I think would have been so much better.
Yeah, it makes it look more like sort of like Everything I Read All at Once.
What was the deal with the ghosts at the beginning?
I don't know. That scene when like the one like zooms into the camera was all
like the video game character.
Yeah, it was like
the RuneScape character.
Yeah, like that was I don't know.
And there was the one fella, small fella, the bald fella who like
grabs never see luggage. You've never see that person.
And she's like, "What's up with that?" But she says it in the most like unsurprised.
Just like
I can't tell if I thought Tilda Swinton was good or not. I really can't tell. I can't tell if I thought she was phoning it in or not.
I don't think she was phoning it in, but I think it's more so.
Yeah.
But it might have been the way that she was directed.
Well, that's the thing. I wonder if she played the character as such a emotionless person, Wes Anderson type character.
Yeah.
That it just.
It also could have just been the way that like it couldn't just been the way George Miller wanted it to be. But
does that work?
But that's the thing. She might have been miscast.
Maybe.
It might have been better.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even think... Because I think Tilda Swinton suits the role. But is it a good way for that character to... Like, is that character just a good character?
It could literally just be the character. It could just be either the character... It could be, like, a few things. And I do think she's definitely a very underdeveloped character.
Yes.
And there's any weird things in the film that I just kind of picked up and then dropped.
Yes.
For, like, no reason.
Like, it's a mess of a screenplay. It needed, like, 10 more rewrites. At least.
So messy.
So messy. But no, I think, my thoughts on it are very much liked parts, thoughts.
I never hate it.
Yeah.
There was never a part that I outright would say I didn't like.
Yeah. The editing at the end, though. That film faded to black 10 times.
I genuinely thought the film ended at least like a good few times. I was like, okay, it's
over.
There
was one point where it faded on black for quite a while and then just went 3 years later.
I genuinely did think the movie was over at that point. I was like, okay, because it genuinely seemed like an okay point to end on.
Yeah, and then there's another ending which I guess is I kind of dislike less. Like I'm not as keen on the actual ending compared to what some of the other endings could have been.
Yeah, the ending's like the ending's like fine.
Like I said, it's a weird film.
I don't know. It's one of those like, I like it, but I'm also like, why? I'm like questioning a lot of the things and like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to look at, and it can be at times a nice dose of weirdness.
Yeah, like it's definitely an interesting film.
And Idris Elba does kind of carry it.
Idris Elba's really good on it.
Yeah, Idris Elba is
like he definitely like shines.
His genie dick is uncomparable.